Good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to the City of Douglas, Mayor and Commission. This will serve as our work session for February 24th, 2020. As always, we'll turn this over to our city manager to get us through this. Mr. City Manager, how are you doing?
Doing well, sir. Hope y'all had a great weekend. Get started here. Item 1, page 4, a review of the February 10th minutes.
I've checked those out, Mayor, and they seem to be good. I'd like to add those to the consent agenda, please.
Thank you. Mr. Moore,
Hey, fine with me.
Commissioner Pearson.
I have not reviewed them. I'll know by the 7 o'clock meeting.
Okay. Mr. Taylor.
Consent.
Mr. Durham.
Consent.
Mr. Gow.
Consent.
Okay. Next item.
The next item, item 2, found on page 13, discuss the EDA appointment. The current term for the mayor has expired, and the EDA is requesting that the mayor be placed back on it for another 4-year term as the EDA representative for the city of Douglas.
Commissioner Taylor.
No problem.
Mr. Durham.
It's okay.
Mr. Gow.
Okay with it.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moore. Commissioner Pearson.
I think, it would be good if somebody else had an opportunity to serve, to give all of us an opportunity to find out exactly how the EDA operates. So that's my position.
Okay. So we'll have to carry that forward. Next.
Next item is item 3, found on page 16. Tonight, we were going to discuss and approve the amended redevelopment plan, but due to the wrong date being advertised in the paper, we're having to re-advertise that, and we'll be having this at the next meeting on Monday the 9th. And then at that time, we was gonna have a special call meeting next week with the city, county, school board, and the EDA. We're going to postpone that a week. So either on Tuesday the 10th or Thursday the 12th, we'll be having a special call meeting for all government entities to work, to adopt all the intergovernmental agreements for the tax allocation district, so we can start with the Chick-fil-A's and all that good stuff. So we'll be bringing this back on the March 9th meeting.
Okay. Good deal.
Question. So we're gonna discuss it at the March 9th meeting, but then the city, county, and school board is gonna meet the 10th or the 12th.
To do the intergovernmental agreements, the redevelopment plan, that's just a city document.
Okay.
But on the 10th or 12th, that's the intergovernmental agreement, how the city and county and school board come to their agreements on all the stuff that we're working on. But it's right here, just a redevelopment agreement by law. The entity that passes the tax allocation district has to pass their development. You can remember back in December, we voted on this. Since then, some of the financial numbers have changed. So anytime you have an amendment to that document, it has to be brought back before the mayor and council.
Okay,
And then over the life of this thing will be amended, but it's good for 30 years.
Okay, so it's gonna be several times that
Yes,
we'll be
ma'am.
voting on the
Yes,
minutes.
ma'am, just in whatever it may be.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, the next item is item 4, found on page 105. This will be discussed approval of the Douglas Police Department standard operating procedures, the counter sniper policy, that be Chief Shane Evanston.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. This is a policy that wasn't included in the mass approval that we done back, I think last month. This is a counter sniper policy. The main focus or the main job of the counter sniper is to observe and from a distance. And if we were to ever have to use deadly force in some kind of incident where we've got a hostage or something like that, then we would have that option. I would hope and pray that we never, ever, ever have to use this policy, and that we never have to implement or put the sniper rifle into action. But in case we ever do, we do have officers trained in this. We have had 2 that have been certified as snipers, and we have this policy that covers if we were ever to have that.
Commissioner Gow.
I looked at it, use it, that's fine to me. Mayor, I recommend it be adopted.
Take over consent.
Yes,
Mr. Durham. Mr. Taylor.
Consent.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Yes, sir, consent.
Mr. Moore. Commissioner Pearson.
Under what circumstances do we have a sniper involved?
Captain Perkins, if you would come up, he has been to the training, and this would be an incident where we have a barricaded subject, things like that, where we can get a shot through a house. If life is in danger, there's many different scenarios that we go into. We would have to, of course, go into every scenario piece by piece and observe and evaluate each situation. So it's hard to say, you know, but barricaded subjects who have hostages would be some of the incidents that we would use this in. And most of the time, the sniper, he can speak. They were trained more on counterintelligence, watching the suspects, watching the person that that's the focus of the investigation, to gather intelligence for the officers that are on the scene and report back to the command post.
So who would make the call? Who would make that determining call to bring on a sniper?
The patrol sergeant who was on the scene could call for a sniper, and they would gather intelligence and give it back to him, and then he would get on the scene, him or the other person is trained and observe from a distance, and then the decision would be made if we were to have to take deadly force. It would be up to the sniper, the counter sniper, or even me if I were there.
So no other higher law enforcement agency would be called in prior to a sniper making this call or something like that happening? Higher law enforcement agency, GBI, whomever, that would be
Not
hired.
necessarily, no ma'am.
Because I recall a few years back, we had a situation here in Douglas off of Spooner Road. You were not here, but there was an incident, and they thought that was a hostage situation, and I recall other law enforcement agencies were called in for that.
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't here at that time, and
You
we're
weren't,
working.
But it seemed like if it's that serious of a situation, I just have concerns about it, to have no other agency involved. That's my position, but you called him up, so.
Yes, ma'am. Well, you may not have time to call another agency in there. Like I said, in the training that we did, and don't get us confused with a military sniper. The main objective of this thing is to gather intelligence in that situation. We've got a good optic on it. You can sit back in 200 yards, get tag numbers, you can get facial descriptions, you can do all the stuff and radio it back to superiors, just basically to gather intelligence.
Okay. All right, I'm not comfortable with moving forward on it, because I don't have enough information about it, so.
I will say this, in reading the policy, it was where there's an endangerment of life, and it was to protect the hostages, and if the individual was fleeing, and if deadly force was determined. So, cool, we'll take that forward.
And before we move forward with it, Mr. Mayor, when you mentioned, to, protect, the life of someone or whatever, and see, and that immediately brings to my remembrance, just a month ago, 6 weeks ago, however long it's been, we had a situation, where the former fire chief's daughter, so she was saying she was being held against her will, so that got all, whatever happened with that. So it just brings some concerns to me as to having various levels of protocol to make sure, because the city manager sent us something that she wasn't being held against her will, but she came here to this meeting and testified she was. So I'm just not comfortable with the level of protocol. How do we get to that point to know that that's where we actually are? So that's my concern. Thank you.
Next item, item 5, found on page 110, that will be discussed FY20 work plan project, Mike Hudson.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. As you can see in the agenda item background, I broke these projects down individually so y'all could look at them by each project. First one would be 31 pole change out on Highway 441 South and a reconductor, which means we put up bigger wire. If y'all recall, on the widening project, we actually stopped that project at the first driveway at the Chrysler place, which is now Woody Folsom's. We need to get that reconductored all the way out, because that's gonna be very pivotal when we supply the new industrial park with power. We're gonna actually loop that through all the way to Brantley Boulevard. The wire we have in place now will not carry that much load. So that is that job there. It's, and this is just labor only for pipe now. We're gonna do all the materials out of the warehouse stock. So this is just labor only. That job's $146,748. That's 7 weeks it'll take them to move, all that power and set those poles, and they will do this without any service interruptions to our customers. In other words, they'll move all this stuff hot. So every one of these jobs I'm telling you about, they'll do with live power going on. The second job, if you guys are familiar with the overpass, the original overpass, if you look off in that bottom to the right, you'll see we've got a shared pole line with MEAG there. We've got some very decrepit cross arms, or old wood cross arms. We're gonna try to change all those out to fiberglass. So that is another job we wanna do. That job is $20,173. It'll take them about a week to do that job. The third job is Columbia Avenue, which is in between SunTrust Bank and the old jail. That line from back of the courthouse goes between the SunTrust Bank and old jail, goes all the way down to the new property Mr. Varnador has redeveloped. We picked up a lot of load on that line. It's an old copper feed, so that we'd like to get that changed out to some 394 as well. That job's $61,310. All of this was budgeted in the actual budget for this year for $300,000. The total of this is actually $228,231, but I would be asking tonight to do a do not exceed of $250,000 in case they have to work an extra week for some reason. So that would be my request tonight, that y'all approve for Pike Electric to do this to a not exceed $250,000 price tag.
Mr. Board leads through it.
This is an item that we've talked about, that's something that's got to be done. And just to give you a quick overview of some of the things that happened the other day, when they had that bad weather, a tree fell across the line, and it just so happened that we had the top wire there that was required, and it didn't break, which is maybe a smaller gauge would have, and was able to keep the lights on for about 15-20 minutes. And I recommend that we follow the superintendent's request.
Would you be okay with the consent?
Consent, yes.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes, oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
You're fine. I'm fine with it.
Consent?
Consent, yes.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir, consent agenda.
Mr. Taylor?
Consent.
Mr. Jones?
Consent.
Mr. Galvin?
Consent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is item 6, found on page 115. Discuss the amendment to the pond broker ordinance. That would be Chief Shane Evanston and Chief Ryder Gardner. He's in here. Okay, this is a seek approval, for a new pond ordinance. This ordinance has not been updated since 1978. We're going through all the ordinances and updating those, and when I read this pond ordinance, I saw that it was out of date. This pond ordinance, would bring us more in line with state law and current practices with pawn shops. One of our jobs is to make sure that we have honest pawn shops operating in the city. And part of that is doing backgrounds on these pawn shops to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're reported.
Galvin?
I looked at it and discussed it with, the chief and, City Marshal Goddard. I guess, we haven't had an update since 1978, and there have been issues, as y'all can expect. A lot of potential stolen property moves through pawn shops, so law enforcement has an interest in ensuring that if property is stolen from our citizens, they can check with the pawn shop and make sure that property is not moving through there And I think this is a way to make that more effective and happen more efficiently, so when we do have citizens that are crime victims, they can hopefully recover their property in a, a more timely and effective basis. Without it, this stuff can move out of those shops before they have a chance to even get over there and check on it. So I'm in favor of getting the ordinance updated.
Right, so this would, we could carry it forward for the first reading.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Garrett, you okay to carry it forward? Mr. Taylor, you okay to carry it forward?
Yes, sir.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Moore? Commissioner Pearson?
So, I have a question, as usual. Chief, then what stands out immediately in your mind as to the major change that we're looking at that was not in the previous one?
Doing backgrounds on the pawn shop, doing backgrounds on the pawn shops, owners, employees, making sure that they're not, involved in criminal activity, and making sure that our pawn shops are in fact reporting daily like they're supposed to. They're required to report daily. When I got here, there were quite a few pawn shops not reporting. We went around individually, myself and Captain Perkins went around to each pawn shop and had a face-to-face conversation with them to make sure that they're reporting, and we need to make sure that they're reporting as they should,
Okay.
and this will hold them accountable.
Okay, thank you, because I didn't know that. I guess my colleagues up here, they had no questions, so I guess they probably know everything about pawn shops. But so when you say reporting daily, exactly what do they supposed to report, kind of, just?
They report what they bought, what they've taken in on pawn tickets and what they've bought.
Okay.
Who pawned it, what it is,
Gotcha.
serial numbers, and we run those serial numbers to make sure they're not stolen, because if, we had a case last week where a lady had a pressure washer stolen. And if we get the pawn reports every day, if we see someone has pawned a pressure washer, then my crime analyst can let the detectives know, hey, we had this stolen, look, it was pawned here at this pawn
Gotcha.
shop.
Thank you.
So it will help us investigations and helping our citizens get
Yes,
back stolen
trying to
property.
get their stuff back. Appreciate it, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm in favor of it going forward for the first reading.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item, item 7, page 130, discuss the work authorization for the airfield pavement evaluation project, Georgia Henderson.
Good evening. Good evening. This is a work authorization, as city manager said, for one of our capital improvement projects at the airport. It's for the airfield pavement evaluation. It's a contract that will, if you all approve it, we'll need Mayor Paul to execute it between Michael Baker International. The total project is $19,366. FAA will put into $17,402.40. GDOT $966.80, and the city's portion will be $966.80 as well.
Commissioner Pearson?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Consent?
Consent?
Mr. Moore?
Consent.
Madam Pro Tem?
Yes, sir, consent.
Mr. Taylor? Consent. Mr. Grant? Consent. Mr. Gow? Consent. Thank you.
Do we need to change
Mayor, I
that
need
to
to,
6?
either that, it'll either be splash 5 or splash 6.
Uh-oh.
So I need to, we need to verify the number, but either one, both of them got aviation money in them. I think splash 5 may be out, so if it's not a splash 5, we'll take it out a splash 6.
Anybody have any objections to that?
No, just make sure the record reflects that. So we'll, later on down the road, we'll know. Once he verified, I'll let the city clerk know. Gotcha.
Okay. Good, good. Thank you.
Next item, we discuss the appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission. This is found on page 138, Georgia Henderson.
All right, we have a vacancy on the board. Ms. Mary Lou Gillespie resigned. Her term would have expired on December 31st of this year. We have an application for Mr. Jim Cottingham to be appointed as a new member to serve out the remainder of her term through December the 31st, or if it pleases the commission, to go ahead and appoint him to a full 3-year term expiring on December the 31st, 2023.
Commissioner Pearson?
When will his term, if we put him in now, when will it end? The end of this year. This is what, February? Okay. All right, and were there any other applicants received? No other, and we've been publicizing this for quite some time now. I have no problem with it going ahead and being approved for the, end of this year through the next term.
Through 2023?
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
okay,
Consent,
consent.
Mr. Moore,
Consent.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Consent.
Taylor,
Consent.
Galvin. Consent.
Next item, item 9, found on page 140, discuss contract agreement review approval for the historic air-based building to JBM Outreach for Henderson.
All right, staff, we received a proposal from Mr. Jerome Burkett, who is here tonight, in case you all have any questions. He's doing business as JBM Outreach. He has a desire to lease, enter into agreement for the remaining 3 vacant buildings at World War II Flight Base. His purpose would be to relocate the majority of his outreach ministry. I'm not sure how well you all know about it, but he has the Joshua's House, which is like a leadership development program. The Freedom House is a biblical teaching and deliverance program, and the House of Refuge is a temporary reentry program. Now, all are gender specific to men, but Mr. Burkett also plans to add an addition to his ministry, which would be like a resource center and referral to others in the community who are non-gender specific. In this proposal, or in your packet, what you all have tonight, in lieu of the rent that we normally charge for the buildings, what he's proposing is, we went out and looked at the buildings, staff, we went out, looked at the buildings, we told y'all we're getting ready to do an RFP to try to do some improvements on those buildings. But what Mr. Burkett proposed, and we've been talking for some time, is his proposal would basically be, in lieu of the $66,000 in rent, he would put work into those buildings over a period of the 5 years that would equal up to, labor-wise, around $112,000. So we're getting double out of the fix-up of what we would get in rent for those buildings. And the 3 that we're talking about is the one on the end, which is the old hospital, the barracks right next to the admin building, and the one on the back that the Civil Air Patrol used to lease. There's another one that's currently occupied for storage by Mr. Brooks. We're in negotiating with him to see if he's open to relinquishing that building so we can put other outreach services in there as well. But he's here, he can answer questions you all may have. But in his proposal, I just want to make sure you all know this. He did go before the Air Base Preservation Committee. They were not in favor of the overnight stays. We have allowed overnight stays on the base before, whenever the Baptist home was there and the Youth Achievement Academy. They're not fully occupied. They're in the admin building right now. They're not fully functional, but that's the service they provide as well. Mr. Burkett is proposing to also make sure a supervisor is on base 24 hours. They're supervising the men who are in this reentry program. At this time, we'll entertain any questions that you all may have for myself or Mr. Burkett.
Commissioner Pearson, lead us through it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Henderson, you and I had a discussion about this, and I informed you that I understand Mr. Burkett wants all 3 of the remaining buildings, but we have been talking with Reverend Richardson for years now about her getting one of the buildings. And what I said to Ms. Henderson, Mr. Burkett, I take it you're Mr. Burkett?
Yes.
He is. What I said to her was that, to allow you to use 2 of the buildings and allow Ms. Richardson to use 1, because the last time she came before us, we were in agreement to allow her to use 1 of those buildings, and we only have 3 left. And she's wanting to provide a service to the community to feed people, feed the needy, feed the hungry. So it would only be fair, in my opinion, to let you work with 2 of those buildings, and we allow Ms. Richardson to use 1. So that's my position on it, and that was what I explained to Ms. Henderson when we spoke. Where we as staff are with that, I haven't heard from Ms. Richardson. She has not submitted a proposal. She has not been by with the interest to go out and take a look at the buildings.
And, I need more clarity on what y'all are asking from staff in terms, like I told, Ms. Pearson regarding, Reverend Richardson, when y'all say hold a building, don't know what type of agreement, what will her plan be, if we're gonna do no rent, if she's gonna come in and fix up like he's proposing to do. We just don't have anything to bring before you. And we've been talking to Mr. Burkett, which is why I told Commissioner Pearson to keep from holding him up. I was gonna go ahead and bring it before you all, and whenever, Ms. Richardson come in, then we would have to look at her proposal.
So, but will there be any more buildings left once she comes in if he gets 3?
If Mr. Brooks, relinquish his building for the storage, he's using it for storage,
Which Brooks is that?
Mr. Don Brooks.
Okay, why do you think that he might relinquish it?
Well, I had a conversation with him. I told him that it's increasing. I spoke with him last week and told him we're getting an increase of people wanting to use those facilities.
Okay.
And
So
what was
does-
his plans, and right now he's using it for storage. But
Does that building he have, does it have a kitchen facility in it? Cause I know the parole office, which I used to work in, has, a facility for a kitchen.
now, I
So
can't fully
think
answer
there
that.
are
I
2 buildings out there that has that capabilities, I think.
With the kitchen facilities,
Mm-hmm.
each one, all of them that I have been in, that is the only building I would say in that circle I haven't been in because he's privately leasing it and I haven't been in that one. I've been in all the other ones, so I can't answer that about the kitchen, but all the other ones do have like a kitchen area.
Okay, no, I'm asking about the 3, of the 3.
Of the 3,
Yes, that
so
Mr.
ask me
Burkett
your
is
question
looking
again, I'm
at.
sorry.
I'm saying, of the 3 buildings that Mr. Burkett is considering to get, how many of those 3 have the kitchen facility?
2 of them.
2 of them. And so if I haven't been in Mr. Brooks' place, his storage, it probably does not have a kitchen in it. So perhaps Mr. Burkett could use 2 buildings of the 3, leave 1 for Ms. Richardson since she's planning to provide food, and it has already equipped with the kitchen facility, and then perhaps Mr. Burkett could use the one that Mr. Brooks relinquishes. Yes, Mr. Adams?
I have some serious questions about this, and I probably need a little time to look at it because, you know, I kind of think this may violate the gratuities clause because you're giving him free rent in exchange for his promise to make repairs. There's no guarantee that the repairs will be made, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't
Right,
do it.
I understand.
But I'm just saying, you know, the taxpayers would be out on a limb
Mm-hmm.
with no way to enforce the repairs being made.
Yes, sir.
So I think I need a little time to
Time
look
on
at
it.
this to see whether or not it violates the gratuities.
Yes, sir. I'm definitely in favor of that, Mr. Adams. Thank you.
You good, Commissioner?
Yes.
Mr. Moore, what do you think about having more time?
I agree with the attorney.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem?
Well, yes, sir, I'm in favor of, anything that will help with mental health issues, with addiction issues, with things like that in the community. But I know we have to, because we're dealing with taxpayers' dollars, we do have to be careful here. If I understand correctly, you were gonna pay the, utilities and the basic monthly stuff for that, is that right, Mr. Jerome? Okay, and I think Ms. Richardson went that way before when we talked about it, but there could be some differentiation, see, so those kinds of things we'd have to get clear with her if the attorney will allow us to do this, so.
Can I say one thing?
Yes.
Come up here.
In part of the programs that I'll be doing, I would need a situation where I could, feed the guys to, and I would need some administrative type office areas. So, that's part of wanting that area in the room that's there. Because it'd be a overall taking full responsibility and care, and meals would have to be made 3 times a day, and showers, restroom facilities, classes, all those sorts of things. Morning and evening type classes. And, if there's one thing this Coffee County needs is we need some more, people delivered off drugs and alcohol. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's something that I'm looking at, what I would need
Yes,
in
sir.
order to be more efficient, to do what God's called me to do.
We so admire what you're doing, and we want to support you any way we can, I think, as a coach. I think,
As long as you don't put us in the orange
yeah,
box.
as long as we don't have to, yeah.
And Mr. Burkett, I just like to say, I do commend what you're doing, and at the same time, you know, there's a need. From working with the Board of Pardons and Paroles, there were guys, you know, coming out of prison on parole who I referred to you before to go to get housing. So I commend what you're doing, and there's a need. My only point is, and we want the attorney to look and see what we could do, but, you know, there's also somebody else interested, and there's only 3 buildings, and if you could use 1, 2, and allow her to use the 1, I mean, that way, we're trying to help everybody, because she's providing the service that's needed in the community as well. And I expressed that to Ms. Henderson. But yeah, by all means, we appreciate it, what you're doing. I commend you, but let's try to see if we can, and like I say, maybe you could get 2 of those, and then if, Mr. Brooks relinquishes his, then you could, maybe that could be a 3rd one. But, you know, we just all got to work together here, you know? So, we'll see what, Attorney Adams can get for us. And
Okay.
we'll discuss it again, but thank you for your work, your service.
Mr., you have something?
I was just gonna say, Jerome, don't become disheartened.
Right.
And like, you have a great track record, and you've proven yourself to the city, okay? So you stay focused, and let us just pray that we'll help you some way.
All right.
Mr. Taylor, you okay with, the one reviewing this, anybody with us?
Yes, sir, I'm just interested in this, in rent versus what he's gonna do. I was interested in the service that he was gonna give, you know, but, with the attorney looking into it, we'll get back to it. Also, we need to, get in contact with Ms. Richardson and let her know that she needs to bring whatever she needs to bring so that we can, you know, plan, so we can go ahead and do what we need to do.
I'm okay with, the attorney looking over, but we were supposed to all sit down, myself, Commissioner Pearson, Ms. Georgia, and Ms. Richardson, because we said that at the meeting, not about 2 meetings ago, when she came by and we was talking about funding, when she came down to the meeting, and we said that we will all sit down and we would discuss this.
Yeah.
So we all need to follow up on this. You know, I commend you, Mr. Burke, for everything you're doing and stuff like that, but we still have a need for the homeless as well. And, you know, it has been a great need, and sometimes that need comes, say like, for example, Pastor Dawn Jones,
Right.
for example, she does a great work in our city,
That's
but
good.
she's running out of room now, and people are still calling her for people that need somewhere to stay, or somewhere to house, but she can't, you know, sometimes, you know, find those people a place. So, you know, we just don't wanna leave Ms. Richardson out there, you know, so I just feel like, you know, we need to, I mean, just as well as Mr. Burkett come forth, she came for how many meetings towards us. And we don't want to, Ms. Richardson to think that we're neglecting her,
Right.
per se, you know, cause it's a need for everything in our city. It's a need for homeless, it's a need for, you know, people getting out of prison, so we just got to work together, we got to face these issues hand in hand. And we got to work hand in hand as a board.
Right.
If you're gonna say it that way, you can't work for one thing and not work for the other. So I just feel that way, so, I mean, we need to contact Ms. Richardson. She does need a plan. She does need a plan, and I think she was working on her board or whatever she was
Right.
working on, but, you know, I mean, we just don't wanna say that we wanna just give up the buildings, all 3 of them, and we know that we've been talking about giving her one of those.
Right.
That's all I.
Thank you. Mr. Dow?
I'm also in favor of us tabling this matter to let Adams take a look at it. In addition, Mr. Burkett, looking at the, our notes on this matter, is this strictly like substance abuse issues, or is this geared toward, folks who are getting out of jail or prison or out on bond to help them? What is your main focus gonna be?
Do I need to be up there?
Yeah.
The reentry part of what she's talking about is the third, phase where, if they're done with rehab, I do a rehab part for 3 months. And, that's what she's talking about, freedom ministry. And, they can either go into the, shelter type situation, and, that's another 3 months that we would house them. Or they can go to my leadership training, which is, there's 3 stages.
Are these people though, are they strictly substance abuse issues, or
No.
are these folks involved in criminal justice issues?
All types
Okay.
of situations where, whatever they fit at the best is where I put them.
So you will expect to have some of these folks are convicted felons but no sex offenders?
Right, as far as the building right there, it's, I believe it's not lawful for me to have people that are sex offenders right there, so I would obey the law and that, and, I have helped people in that kind of situation, but only if it fell within the law, and I really felt good in my spirit that they wanted that kind of help.
Yes, sir.
If they were just, I could tell that they weren't trying to change themselves any, I would deny them service.
Cool. And in addition, I would also commend you for these efforts. They're obviously needed in our community. I would just say, Ms. Henderson, there's a couple of things here I noticed. Obviously the Child Advocacy Center is operating out there as well as the Youth Achievement Academy. I have concerns that whether that fits in the character with mixing those two groups together. I'm concerned if we have, those are obviously places that are serving our youth that are at risk. So I would like, if this is something that we're seriously considering, I would like to know what the plan is to ensure that those youth are watched over and protected at all times and in all situations. I don't know what, I know that's kind of a big area out there, so maybe this is not a problem, but I'd like to know what those precautions will be and what the plans will be. I also noticed that the committee is not receptive to the overnight stays. I would like to have more detailed information about what the committee's reservations are, if we wanna have the committee chair come address us, but those are questions I'd like to have answered before I'm comfortable making any type of decision on this matter. I think we need some more information here. In addition, if we feel like this maybe doesn't fit into the character, or it's not maybe the best fit for Mr. Burkett, perhaps there's some other facilities that we know of around the city or within the county that could help him get this set up, because it's obviously needed. But that's kind of what I'm seeing just from the proposal and the things that I'm hearing. Thank you very much for coming, Mr. Burkett.
Okay.
Before, you come up, Ms. Henderson, I just wanna, in the recommendation, the air-based preservation say that they was not receptive of the overnight stay and did not feel that these type of services will fit in the plan of the development of the base. But in the recommendation, it's saying that y'all want to approve it.
I can answer that, because I was gonna answer Commissioner Gowan's, question. We did extend an invitation to their base, Dr. McDonald, to come tonight. I don't know if he forgot, but I'm on that committee as well, and that is why I put it on there so you all would know. But I didn't go into great detail, but, what was discussed at the meeting was that this type of services, even the ones that are currently there, although they didn't want them there, they still was okay if Mayor and Commission approved them, because we came up with a plan a couple of years ago before Ms. Dale left, if y'all remember, we had it zoned for planned development. That was a way to try to attract more, when we were thinking along the line of tourism, doing like a village theme, and as the air base grow and more aviation type businesses may come in, The people who are currently leasing the buildings, they understand that they may have to vacate, of course, legally, if we have an increase of aviation type events in the facilities. So that is why the air base was, in disapproved of it, because they didn't feel like it was aviation type related. But after discussing with them, you know, I'm wearing a double hat, I'm on that committee, yes, we're about the preservation of the base. Nothing is going to take place that's going to encroach upon the historical appearance of the base. Everyone out there who's in there now, and even if Mr. Burkett, Ms. Richardson, the same thing, we will tell them you can't do anything aesthetically to the outside, but inside, then you can renovate. So that was some of their concerns. So we have assured them of that. We've made accommodations for that even in the contract. But that is the thing why because that will take up all the buildings. And I told them that we're not doing long-term contracts. If you notice, most of these I bring before you are 5 years or less. And even in that 5 years, there's an out clause for the city and the leasee as well. So I'm not sure if that fully answers.
So maybe, what you're saying maybe is better to have somebody using the buildings and then from them to sit there vacant, you know,
Exactly.
and disrepair.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And for the youth, you know, the youth are not overnight stays on base. Those are by appointments and that sort of thing. And I did speak to Mr. Burkett, you know, for how would he do that with the housing, with having a supervisor there. More than likely, the youth, the way they so discreetly bring them in, you probably won't even notice them or see them anyway. They're well chaperoned whenever they are on site because of the type of services that we're going to the Child Advocacy Savings House for.
Mr. Durham, were you good?
I'm great, but I'm just kind of lost within the recommendation of them, then it's in the recommendation to us.
Right.
It looked like it would have followed suit the same thing.
Well, and what,
Yeah, that's not-
not
You
me,
know,
but
it's like,
Mr. Durham?
I'm saying like, it's like on the recommendation that they're recommending, it's not the same thing as it is in the recommendation to us. So it kind of, yeah, it's kind of
And that's why,
redundant in
that's why she brought it to us for clarification, but we're gonna turn it over to Jerome, he's gonna get back, so,
And almost the same identical thing happened with the Youth Achievement Academy program. They were not in approval of that program coming out there, so we did the same thing. I brought it to you all, brought it to your attention. Air Base was not, you know, they're an advisory committee. They were not, you know.
And all our committees are advisory committees.
Right, and I know
But on
we
most
listened
of
to
the
them.
recommendations, they still say, cause I have seen some that did not, you know, agree with the recommendation. Under the recommendation that's under here to us, will say that they didn't agree with it. But then they'll say, Mayor and Commission, we want you, you know, whoever that department head will say, Mayor and Commission, we want you to approve this. That's all I'm
Right.
so,
That is why sometimes staff have a discretion on our recommendation too. We present our sides, and then we will present what our recommendation is.
And we thank God for staff, I mean, we thank you all for staff, but also we thank the committees because
Right.
they take out time to come
That's right.
to those committee meetings during the day, you know, during those times that y'all set them. And we don't want to just say that we just wanna go with staff because there will be no need for a committee if we just go with staff.
okay,
I have something, and I just wanna add to what Commissioner Durham said, you know, at the last time that Reverend Richardson came, that was the direction we were supposed to go. We were supposed to have a meeting with everybody concerned. So I think the next step, prior to us waiting on Attorney Adams to find out what he can, we go ahead and try to get this committee set up with Mr. Burkett, Ms. Richardson, and Pastor Dawn, and, Commissioner Durham and myself, because he mentioned that he had talked to a gentleman at GMA who has funding. While we're waiting on Jerome, let's see if we can get a meeting set up, okay?
Now, are we meeting with just Ms. Richardson to find out her plans?
No.
Cause we know Mr. Burkett's plan.
Okay, well, if he doesn't wanna be there, that's fine, we could meet with, I mean, but I just thought it would be good if we could all have some dialogue. Because, I mean, I know he mentioned something about some cooking going on, so, I mean, it might be a service that could be provided that he wouldn't necessarily have to provide just the counseling services for the gentleman. Excuse me?
I was trying to find out about the city manager, is that he's gonna set up the meeting.
No,
I think last time y'all instructed him to set it up, but if y'all want me to set it up, I will.
Yes, ma'am.
I just was waiting on the
Yeah,
city
that's your
manager.
department.
Okay.
I think that would be fitting for you.
Okay, we good?
Yeah, thank you.
Let me make some quick comments, because we got about 15 minutes left. Mr. Burkett, what you're proposing, you're already, functioning, right? You're just looking for another location.
Right.
Correct?
You've been doing this for years.
So the next thing is, I do agree that, Ms. Henderson, we need to set up a meeting, with Reverend Richardson. And we need to know, because I think Commissioner Pearson said she's been up here a few times for about a year.
Longer than a year.
And we've asked for a plan or something. She's came back a few times with some letters of support. So I do think that in this meeting with Commissioner Pearson and during there, that we need to have Ms. Richardson say, hey, look, you have 60 or 90 days to come up with some type of feasible plan that we can move on. Now, and this is one of the things that, as far as open dialogue, Mr. Burkett, I really admire what you're doing, and the same admiration for Minister Richardson. I do have an issue with our children being out there. I mean, I have a serious concern about that. And you shedding light, or the council shedding light on that, for that particular populace. And also Jerome bringing into the fight of giving, does that also impact Reverend Richardson? The cost, and then we'll move on. The safety of the children. The children are coming here because they're being removed from a bad situation, correct? Hopefully for a safe haven. Well, 100 yards away may be some individuals that need your services. And just that, I'm gonna struggle with that, and I'll be honest with you, because I think that it's paramount that the children be protected at all costs. And having Ms. Richardson, her clientele there also, is gonna, and I had never thought of this, that's gonna weigh on me. And I'm just being honest with you. If I have to make a decision and it gets 3-3 for the safety of the children, I'm riding with the children. Okay, but we'll proceed. But the safety of the children is gonna be paramount with it. Okay? Yes, sir.
The only thing that I could help make it feel a little bit better in understanding about it is we're running about 8 leaders that's been trained up, my wife included, my mother included, and then several guys that's went through my leadership through almost a year. One of them's been with me 5 years, another one's been with me 4 years, another one's been with me about 2 years. And there's always somebody and a multitude of leaders that's always with them everywhere. We've never had nothing stolen. The policemen send us people, hospitals send us people, churches send us people. We're around in the community where they're right in the middle of community all the time, and there's been zero interaction with the other houses, and they're right by other houses and kids and all that. But I do understand the concern.
Okay.
But I do want you to understand the leadership that's in place that's doing this job, and they're doing it for the right reason. It's not about the money. We've been doing this just about with a little support, but we've been trying to do the work and let people see that we're, really doing it and really helping people.
I agree.
And it don't matter, any kind of person, and, but that's what we have. And it's a good staff to have in Coffee County that's really come back from some real issues. And any help or any ideas or anything like that, I'm up for anything, any ways of support or anything. I'm up for anything.
Right, well, we've started the conversation.
Yes, sir.
And, hopefully through, Jerome and George setting up these here, that safety of the children is paramount with me. So, and we'll move forward from there, okay?
Yes, sir.
Good deal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have about 10 minutes here. All right,
Next item, item 10, found on page 152. This was items brought up for the mayor to discuss Mayor Paul issues.
Ms. Golden, start in 3 minutes. Basically, these are some of the items that, I want to discuss during the retreat. The first thing is I sent out the incorrect email. I actually, located the email, I think I sent it out initially, was March the 11th, excuse me, of 2018. And I just sent out the wrong email. But the issues that I wanted to discuss with the council in a more informal setting was that the first issue is to make the council aware that, we wanna make sure that we're staying within our budget, with our travel and our expenses. Just as we have other department heads, I think we should set a precedent of that we stay in budget. That's just informational, doesn't require anything. As a member of the council, anyone can look at any of our expenses. Just wanna make sure that we're within our policy. The next thing is, one of the things that I noticed, for the last few meetings is when we have our meals for this meeting, is that staff is going to multiple, restaurants. I would like to propose that what we do is whoever's responsible for the implication, that's where we get our meals at and leave it at that. Instead of staff having to go to 2 or 3 places. The next thing, cause I got about a minute and 30 seconds, the next thing is about the, Robert's Rules of Order. The charter says that we generally follow Robert's Rules of Order. It's not a document that I invented. I actually have been doing a great deal of research. I've been copying and pasting, putting in what we already do. 90% of this is what we already do. But I don't like being blindsided, so what I wanted to do is to make everybody aware. I think it's about 8 or 9 pages of what I'm proposing as a resolution for how we will conduct our meetings. Once again, that doesn't require a vote. The next meeting, I'm gonna put it on there, but I want to give the council the opportunity to make recommendations and suggestions. The last thing is the utility committee. At first, and I'm just being honest with you, I thought that was a bad idea. But as I started researching, there are a number of cities that have advisory councils. I think that we should have, instead of a utility committee, we should have a citizens advisory council that can incorporate multiple things as far as code enforcement, police, parks and rec, whatever we deem as a council to give to them. Once again, what I did is copy and paste and to try to establish some foundation for establishing some bylaws for that. I would always yield to the council that those 2 documents, the Robert's Rules of Order and the bylaws for the Citizens Advisory Committee is only a starting point. And I stole those ideas and some of that verbiage from other cities. Anybody have any comments?
On the meals, I agree that whoever has the prayer for that meeting would have the choice of ordering for everybody from the place of their choice.
Okay.
And if you don't wanna eat, don't eat.
Commissioner Pearson, your thoughts?
Well, I thought that's how it was going concerning the meals. That whoever had the then that Ms. Neal would call everybody on the council and ask, what do you want from Daniels, or what do you want from Reeves? That was my understanding as to how it was going, so I'm just now being informed that it wasn't going that way. That's what you're saying, right? It's not going that way. So I guess when she asks people what they want,
Yes.
they'll say, somebody might go some different from where the
Right.
person said.
So
that they want.
you're in agreement, whoever has the invitation, that's what we do.
Right,
Correct.
like I thought we were doing.
Okay, Commissioner, Mayor Pro Tem?
Regarding, let me
Okay.
finish though, regarding, and I looked over what you're proposing, now regarding that, okay, you said at the next meeting we'll discuss it, but I definitely have some concerns on what you're proposing about, generally we abide by Robert's rules and this, that, and other, so I guess we'll have that on the agenda to discuss the next meeting, right?
Right, but what I wanted to do is, I don't like being blindsided in anything that I do. I don't want to put, a document that has 8 to 10 pages in it and say, all right, let's vote on it. I wanna make sure that you have ample enough opportunity to review the document. I think that's only fair. Even just rereading it, I found a couple things that I think we should add. So, and also with like what I said with the Citizens Advisory Committee, I think that, I think it could be a good thing. And that's one of the things I try to suggest to citizens. As the mayor, I try to keep an open mind. I think that the citizens, having the advisory committee could help us out with some issues. But I think that we've talked about the utility committee since October, and we haven't done anything. And I'm saying that this could serve as an opportunity for those bylaws to say, hey, look, this is how we're gonna operate. Change, add, subtract, whatever. So, Mayor Pro Tem, you're okay with whoever has the invitation to do the meals?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I was looking at you. I was still asking you.
No problem.
Absolutely.
Mr. Durham,
Thank you.
you okay with
It wouldn't be listed as a utility committee because we already have a utility.
No, right.
So, I mean, you can't consider.
Utility advisory.
Right, so it wouldn't be a utility committee, that's a, but, on the other issues, we could discuss that next week, cause I have some things to say.
Okay. So you're okay with whoever has the invitation, that's it?
Oh, yeah, cause that's what I always thought.
If you're okay with that, because we're running out of time.
Oh, yes,
Cool.
I'm like y'all, I thought that's what we
Good
were
deal.
doing.
So, advise staff, that's it. Next thing on the agenda,
And Mayor, just a quick question, you're gonna get those 8 pages to us before,
it's already, it was in the email.
okay, all right, I didn't see the attachment, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, I think what he was referring to starts on page 174.
Yes.
Page 174, and it says, council rules and procedures in order.
Cool. Next, I think we do have some citizens for general comments. We're gonna extend just a few
Okay,
minutes.
we're just skipping over, 11,
11?
item 11.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Next will be item 11, found on page 184, discuss and finalize the utility advisory committee, there's Commissioner Olivia Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. First of all, I need to know who are the individuals who have signed up to serve on the utility advisory committee. Because like the mayor just mentioned, this started out back in October, and we have not finalized this committee as of yet. Now, personally, I know I heard him say that we might need to have just a citizens advisory committee could encompass utilities and everything. But I think that utilities is so broad and will take up a lot of time. I don't know, we might wanna consider adding that, but I know we don't have enough time to really decide now. But who are the names that we have so far?
Okay, at 4:45, there's a couple you brought up, what's in the agenda packet. You have Priscilla Carter, Davis.
What ward is that?
Is that Ward 3? Ward 3. David Clark on Evergreen Lane, which would be 3. Michael Clark, 611A South Gaskin. I'm assuming that would be the business one. That would be, I guess, Ward 2. And then you have Tina Berry up on north end of town, which would be business. It's not in a ward, it's in a business area.
And what are those others
And then-
that were added?
Ma'am,
Those other names that were added?
Well, I mean, part of the agenda, you have Lorraine, Truman on 604 D Phillips Street. That would be either 2 or 3.
What ward?
Two.
2, okay, Ward 2. And the one that was brought in just at 5 o'clock here, you had Nico Thomas of, 900 North Wheeler, says, 4 or 5 on the, Ward 4 or 5 on the thing. Aya Townsend, Ward 5, over on 819 North Daughtry. Thomas Paul, 1509 North Gaskin, that'd be Ward, it says on here 4, but actually that would be in, Ward 5, the North Gaskin area. And then James Perry.
Excuse me, is that not Commissioner McNeil's district over North Gadsden?
Right.
So that's 4 or 5?
She's 5.
5, okay.
And some of them were, I just sort of put them to the side because they had either the wrong commission name for whatever ward they had on their Ward 4 for me, and then for Mike,
And
they
they
had
might have
5.
been
So
5.
I said they don't know who the commissioner is, or they're confused about that.
Okay, and
Which
who-
ward they're in.
Who else after Thomas Paul?
Thomas Paul, Mr. James Perry, down at 1305 South Pearl, and that'd be Ward 1.
Okay, so how many people is that?
And 5 already, let's see,
I think I counted 9 or
4,
10?
so that'd be 9.
9? Okay, so like I was saying, my reason for getting this on the agenda is because of the fact that this has been being discussed since October. And several people have came to me and asked me, what are we going to do about it, of the people who are concerned about being on the committee. So that's why I got it on the agenda, and I think I read Mr. Pearson had put it on his Douglas Now, that it had not been mentioned anymore about the utility issue since the election was over. So no, it was not just an issue with me doing the election. I was concerned about it before the election, and I'm still concerned about it. So I think this mayor and council needs to move forward with appointing these people, from the various districts that they have applied for the utility, advisory committee. That's my position, that's why I'm on the agenda for it.
Okay. Mr. Moore?
I still think we, as individual commissioners and mayor, should appoint the person that they want to serve on that committee, not Ms. McNeil appointing somebody out of my ward on as her choice. That's the way I feel about it, is each person has a appointment.
Right, and they told the citizens
Hold on.
to some.
Mr. Moore still talking, please.
Are you finished, Mr. Moore? He's finished. But I just need to clear it up, Mr. Mayor, because he's saying we need to appoint. The people have turned in their applications, which they have been instructed to do by this board. It was advertised. People have turned in their names. So I don't understand what he's saying about we should pick. That's why they turned in their names, so that they could be picked.
We need to pick someone from our ward, you pick someone from your ward, and vice versa. And not that you pick 2 or not pick 3 or whatever, but I think that we ought to be the one to say who represents our ward.
So if the citizens from wards 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have sent their names in, well, how is anybody picking 2 and somebody else picking 3? I don't understand.
Well, I'd go out and get somebody, 2 different people to sign up. It don't mean that we're gonna put them on there because they're from Ward 6.
Okay, but they've advertised, so if you're interested to sign up, so what else do you want to happen if people have signed up?
Well, there's a lot of time for the ones that signed up.
So, we have a number of guests out there, Commissioner, well, Mayor Pro Tem, what do you say? She wants us to move forward with appointing, the individuals.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I want more time to, if somebody's stepping up to the plate in my ward, I want more time to speak to this person, to see what their agenda is, and maybe who they might have spoken to, or if they were encouraged to do this. Again, I think, I I'm in favor of having a more diverse citizens committee that can help us with a lot of things, not just utilities. I would like to see our utility committee become part of a well-rounded group of people representing the entire, again, black, white, Hispanic, very racially diverse, very ward diverse, age diversity there, and have people also help us with other issues like code enforcement and things like that we sometimes need, we need citizen engagement on. So I would be in favor of, again, tabling this until we come to an agreement about what's important and what we need citizen input on.
Mr. Taylor?
I have Mr. Perry here, that fill out the application, am I right? He did fill out, he's interested, I don't have no problem with him serving this board.
Okay, y'all no problem with serving as Ward 1?
Mr. Durham?
I mean, I'm just gonna say this, we've been talking about this since October. And everybody's saying, I got one commissioner saying that to pick one to represent. Got another one saying they need time to talk to the person, to go out and to look and see and all this, but this been since October.
Right.
So I mean, we done had time to look and to see or to pick. So from the start, we determined that we wasn't going to pick. Because that would have been quite easier than someone coming to fill out an application. And so we went with the application process.
Right.
Now they're running it all over Douglas Now, the city, advertising and stuff like that. But I feel like it's not, to me, I'm just gonna be real about it. Is it important to you? Or is it not important to you? Because if something is important to you, you won't need time to look at this. I mean, we've been going since this October, we've been tabling this since October. And just like any other committee, if it could be just one person that fills out, just like in this packet right here, we have for the historic preservation.
Right.
It was just one applicant, Mr. Cunningham, and he applied for it, and we went on with that. So I mean, what do we need to keep tabling? Do we need to keep tabling because you don't have the person that you want for your ward? That's not our, cause just like a lady, she was interested in, just saying that what she wanted. But I just feel like at the end of the day, like we just don't need to just keep wasting our time.
Mr. Allen?
I guess I'd have to go back and look at the minutes, but I don't remember coming to a decision on exactly how. I remember we agreed that we would solicit people to apply. I know for myself, I've got a gentleman in my ward that I've known for a number of years who is a military veteran, retired person who's interested in serving on this committee. So I'm gonna have his name submitted. I appreciate y'all making recommendations for him, but I've got somebody.
So I wanna say this, Mayor, if you have someone that is interested, go ahead, put the name out there so we can get above this. We drag it like, it's right, it's flagging out,
And I would say too, I'm also in favor of an advisory council that would do more than just utilities. I like to get some citizen input, have a way to get citizen input on a variety of issues that affect the city.
Let me say this, being that this is my item that I brought. Now, as it has already been stated, we had one gentleman tonight, Mr. Cottingham, and I made the recommendation because that's my department. His name was the only one submitted. I didn't say, well, let's wait and see if we get some more, because that's not how we have been doing business. We have been taking those people who have wanted to serve on the committees. We advertise them on the channel, ask the people to submit their names. But now tonight, you got some names come forward, and these names not good enough. So y'all gonna go, okay, you should have been went to your district and to your people and told them, we're advertising for the utility committee, put your name in. You should have been done that. You had from last October 2019 to do it. And you didn't do it, because y'all wasn't planning on moving forward with and you say, you want more time. Well, okay, I'm gonna say this, like Commissioner Taylor said. Now, he said Mr. Perry got his name in, and he's gonna appoint that person, okay? So from my ward, I have Miss Priscilla, and I'm appointing her. So I'm moving on forward with who I want to represent. If you got a name, if it's in here, say it. If it's not in here, come back again. But as of now, I'm not holding you up any longer because you've been constantly talking to me about serving. I am appointing you to this committee, Miss Priscilla Davis. Let the record reflect, Miss Clerk. My appointment is Priscilla Carter Davis, okay? Mr. Taylor said his is Mr. Perry. Do you have an appointment tonight, Mr. Dern?
Mine is Miss Trim, she's already applied.
Okay, Ms. Trim. So that's 3 so far. So we'll have to have 4 more.
Okay?
Thank you.
And again, Commissioner Pearson, I was very confused when I got this. I discounted it because down at the bottom of some of these, they had that they were in Ward 5, Mike Gowan's ward. Mike Gowan is not even the commissioner for Ward 5. I'm the commissioner for Ward 5.
Okay, it does not
In one
matter.
of them, it
That
said
person
Ward
wasn't
4,
certain.
Cindy McNeil, so I'm sorry. But for those, we will rediscuss those, okay?
Yeah, we got 3 appointed.
Okay.
All right, it's 7:15. I do think that we have a couple citizens that wanted to speak.
Right.
So we're gonna give the citizens the opportunity to speak. Do you have any updates?
That's right.
Okay. Call the first citizen. And we're gonna be real stringent on this 3 minutes because we have guests waiting. Okay?
We had 2 items come in. The first one was Commissioner Olivia Pearson to discuss
Who's the other one? Is that person here?
Thomas Paul.
Is he here?
I don't know.
Okay.
Commissioner Pearson, please.
All right, I'm gonna go down to the podium. Since I'm speaking as a citizen and not as an elected official. Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Moore, I didn't even get your,
Could you state your name and address for the record? Ms. Rose,
Good evening, my fellow colleagues. I am Commissioner Olivia Coley Pearson, right now speaking as Olivia Pearson, a citizen. I reside at 614 Taylor Circle, Douglas, Georgia. I'm coming to you all regarding the negligent and disrespectful actions of the mayor and certain commissioners regarding the formation or lack of formation of the Citizens Utility Committee, which was discussed in October 2019. Suggested corrective action that the council immediately appoint citizens from their wards or districts as agreed upon 3 to 4 months ago. Stop making blanket promises to the citizens of Douglas. This committee needs to be appointed tonight to move forward with the electric utility issues. By moving forward, the citizens of Douglas will have an independent and neutral group who will evaluate the problems with the astronomical utility bills. So we've covered some of this and 3 people have already been appointed tonight. I just urge my other colleagues to move forward with making your appointments. Do the right thing. I ask that you be good stewards for the citizens of Douglas. I, as well as anyone, know without a doubt, just because there is a majority voting a certain way does not mean that that majority is fair, equitable, right, or moral. I'm standing before you all again as I was when we won in November. And it was our first meeting, I believe, of the first meeting after the election when we took our office again. One issue I am here about, again, is the forming of that Utilities Advisory Committee. Because I'm tired of the people coming to me about it, saying we have not done it. It's like we're liars. Okay? The other thing of concern that I have, and I will make it quickly since I have only 30 seconds left, is that this very council needs to do what is right. Just because you don't want to hear issue, you don't have the right to adjourn the meeting. I don't care who's speaking or what's being said. That does not rest in you all's authority. And you are wrong for doing it. At the last meeting while I was speaking, I was so rudely interrupted and the meeting was adjourned. And I stated after the meeting, I'm tired of it. And I am. And because I'm tired of it, on tonight, I have something for each one of you. Mr. Worthy, will you assist me, please?
Your time is over.
And another thing, while I'm standing here, you say my time is over, but we discussed for the longest the issue about Mr. Jerome. We didn't put the clock on. See, that's another discrepancy that we have. That's another discrepancy that we have. But the fact of the matter is, if you're gonna time one, by law, you've got to time all.
Okay.
It's time out for the foolishness, my last warning to y'all.
Is there any other business before us? All right, we stand adjourned. We're going to take about 5 minutes, and we're going to see if we can get, individuals in here, okay? Do I have a ROTC cadet out there? We do.
Step pro.
We got to go.
Thank you. He told me don't give me key back. He say he I had a key, it was in the car, but I didn't have a car key.
Let me make sure I understand this. We got a youth facility at the airport.
I just about to leave money.
Thinking about putting a rehab facility at the airport, and a homeless facility at the
There needs to be some more discussion around it.
I just think the airport should be.
Y'all ready? Sorry about that.
And I'm gonna I agree, but when there is no
You miss him.
Always.
but it was just helping us get some money and fixed up. They're declining.
I'm fair, yeah. I'm fair. All right, let's go.
I meant to tell you, you texted me earlier, y'all are You've got 30 seconds. You've got.
I can't even introduce myself in 30 seconds.
Well,
You see how I dress for it?
thank you, Lord. Please help us. Amen. That's,
Sit right there, right? This is where I'm gonna be over here.
that's it.
You talk about football, we'll be here all night.
Had the court thing go this morning. I ain't watched you yet. I saw you got in there.
All right.
It was
Good
interesting.
evening. We're running a little long here. I need everybody to do me a favor. If you were not present for the work session, would you please physically pull out your phone and check and make sure it's on silent or vibrate? And we're gonna get started. You good down there, Commissioner Gowan?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Durham? Commissioner Taylor? Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Moore? Commissioner Pearson, you good?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, you ready? All hearts and minds clear? Good evening. Welcome to the City of Douglas Mayor and Commission meeting. This will serve as our regular meeting for February the 24th, 2020. And the next item on the agenda is the invocation. Commissioner Bob Moore, lead us through it, please.
All right, welcome my friend, Brother Matt Rutland. He's got a new church up there. We're going to take up offering and help put some on his and, some of his other deal up there.
Yeah.
Brother Matt, you step to the mic and
I didn't bring the plates. I'd had no idea. Let's pray. Father, we thank you for your oversight of all things. We thank you that you, Lord, your sovereign authority and power is something we can yield and submit to. God, I pray for this meeting. I pray for this city, this commission. Lord, I pray for decisions that they try to make. And Lord, I pray for you to bring unity for the common goal of pleasing you first and foremost, and then serving this city and the people of this city in the best way. God, you know what barriers need to be broke down, and you know what minds need to be changed. But God, in all of it, we ask you to bring about your truth, your justice. And Lord, we pray that those things will always bring about your peace. I ask you, Lord, to bless this meeting. And Lord, for any upset people and folks that have already gotten wound up, I pray, God, that you calm them down so that we can do your business. And we'll give you the glory for it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. As always, we will be led the Pledge of Allegiance by the Coffee County Navy Junior ROTC. And we have our cadet with us, Lieutenant Junior Gray Marino. If you would, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have a seat. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the order of the agenda.
So moved.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion
I
carries.
have not had opportunity to review them, like I stated earlier, so opposed to like.
Okay. Motion carries. Sorry about that.
No problem.
The next item on the agenda is recognition and a moment of silence for Mr. Joe Simpson. He was a city employee that lost his life a little over a week ago. City manager and I attended the funeral memorial service along with, I believe, the entire electric department. If you would pan over, we have a memorial set up. It was rough. I tell folks all the time, I've been doing God's earth for 56 years, but that sting of death is something that's always brand new. and to see, Mr. Simpson's, son there, it was difficult. It was really, really difficult, to sit there, and couldn't help but just pray for that family. Just pray for that family. I think the city of Douglas, showed up in full force. I commend, the city manager and our utilities director. The city of Douglas was on full display. And if you would you join me on a moment of silence to honor one of our fallen employees, Mr. Joe Simpson. Thank you. Next on the agenda, we have a part that, as the mayor of the city of Douglas, I enjoy completely. This is the recognition of some of our youth that has done some outstanding and amazing things and brought a light to the city of Douglas and Coffee County. First, we're going to have the Coffee High School wrestling team, and that is Mr. Brockington. Oh, he's over there. Good deal. Y'all come on in, gentlemen. If you go over to the podium and introduce your crew.
All right, good afternoon, Mayor and Commission.
Good evening.
All right, so, Coach Paul. All right, so we had the privilege this year, we have a lot of guys we need to recognize. First off, Coach Paul, he's the head coach and I'm the assistant coach, and he can go more into details about it.
We're gonna squeeze in a little bit, squeeze in, turn sideways, give us 2 lines and stuff. We wanna try to get everybody in the photo. All right, y'all ready? Turn. There you go. Good Lord. So while we're getting ready, I want all the citizens that are viewing this, please remember, if you have any student or youth that's doing amazing things, please feel free to reach out to me. We want to bring them down here and honor them. Mr. Brockington called me and said, hey, we went up there to state, we did a great job. Man, I just want to bring them down there. Is that possible? Yeah, bring them on, right?
All right.
That's what we want. Sir, Coach, what's your last name?
Paul, it's your cousin.
You're a bad man.
Introduce.
Yeah. Well, this is our Coffee High Wrestling team. We won region individual, and we also won region duels, which is the first time since '93 that we've done that. So we qualified for state duels, which is all team points, and this is the second year that we qualified for state duels. We knocked off the defending state champs Valdosta to win region. So that was big for us this year. Anytime you can beat Lee County and Valdosta in anything is really good. So, but this is a good group. We ended up taking 9 to state. 5th place, our heavyweight, Jesus Riano. This is his 2nd time placing. He got 4th last year. And then we had Greg Lacoste got 3rd. He's a senior wrestler. And then we had a state runner-up, Cameron Arvison. He is announcing the baseball game right now. And then we had a state champ, which is Tayon Wimberly. And he's not here tonight. He just lost his grandmother. So they're dealing with that right now. But we've had a good group. We had 8 seniors. So we're losing a lot, but we're rebuilding with a lot also. So next year, with us dropping to 5A, is going to be tough for us as far as wrestling goes. Those Atlanta schools are good. So these guys put in a lot of work. So we look forward to seeing what you know, what lies ahead. We also had 2 freshmen in our lineup. Kwanzi Baker was one, qualified for state as a freshman, and he won a match at state, so we're going to build off that for the future. He should be a state placer next year. But we've got a good group. Nolan Smith has placed as a freshman and placed last year as a sophomore, and he should be in the top 3 or 4 next year. Brandon High is one of the All-Americans that we have. The other one was Taron Wimberly, who won state. But Brandon, he went to nationals last year at Virginia Beach and placed top 8 in the freshman division.
Oh, good,
so
good.
we look forward to seeing what he's got coming in next year as well. But I don't want to take up any more time, but this is a great group, and we're very proud of them.
All right, the newspaper, so we can get you the newspaper. Everybody got to squeeze in a little bit. Everybody squeeze in. Everybody squeeze in.
Take a knee.
Get a few to take a knee. That'll help us out. Here, y'all take a knee up here.
Oh, there's Greg's pose.
Are the coaches getting in?
Okay, coach. Can we squeeze in a little bit more? You'll go up here. Where's Mr. Crocker for that? Go up here. You know, there's stuff called barbershops. All right, here we go. Is that good?
This is perfect.
Good deal. We have any parents over there want to migrate over here and get a picture? Let's get all the. If parents want to go in there and grab a couple pictures, here we go. Be on the book tonight. We're good? Good deal. Oh, before you go, I always got to give a little speech. I want to tell you, gentlemen, that I am proud of you. I appreciate the long hours of practicing, traveling to and from the meets. And let me say this right here. To the parents, I don't think too many of them can drive, so appreciate y'all time and effort getting them back and forth to practice and those things. I've been saying this for the last 4 years. As the mayor of the city of Douglas, that name doesn't ring as much as the Coffee High Trojans. It is known throughout this state, Florida, South Carolina. When people ask me, hey, who are you? I say, I'm Tony, the mayor of the city of Douglas, Coffee High. That's the first thing they say, Coffee High. So I am super, super, super proud of you, okay? And I appreciate y'all wearing that emblem on your chest that says Coffee High Trojans. Y'all have done a great job. If y'all please join me. Thank you. I was trying to see which one of y'all I thought I could take. What's that?
My money's on them there.
Hey, I think I can take Mr. Brockington. That's what I was bet on. Thank you, Mr. Parker. That's a great last name, man. Great last name.
2 years ago.
Oh, we been winning?
All right, also, we're gonna let them clear out a minute.
I can't remember his name.
Also, a recognition, we have our CCA Lady Patriots. They went to the Final Four in their basketball. Which way did they come? Here we go. Come on in. What's going on, Coach? You go over there and introduce us. How you ladies doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. How you doing? How y'all doing? Hey, good to see y'all. Good deal. Good deal. What's going on? Glad y'all could make it. Glad y'all could make it. Y'all squeeze in because there's going to be some photo ops. I'm being on Facebook tonight. Snapchat, all that. Good deal. So, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Introduce us and tell us a little bit about their season.
Well, you're looking at the youngest ladies basketball team in the state of Georgia, in private school. No younger in public neither. One senior, Miss Bailey Bright, junior, Emma Rish, sophomore, Abby Osteen. Ninth grader, Miss Abby Vickers. I got so many Abby and Addies, I get them all confused. I just call her Vickers. Harris, she's everybody down's 8th graders, which is what's amazing. They're allowed to play at the varsity level. This is Caitlin Tanner, Maddie Knight, London Osteen, which is Abby Osteen's younger sister, and this is a little bit Ansley Reyes.
Oh, yes.
And Jason Harris is one of my assistant coaches, and also Emma's dad, Dickie Rich, is also an assistant coach. He's at work.
Good deal. Any of you gentlemen want to say something, or y'all good? Y'all good? You want to tell us a little bit about the season?
We finished 18-10. Bailey and Emma both have been nominated to be All-Region this year, and we also had one nominated to be All-State player. We don't know those results yet.
Good deal.
We made it to the Final Four with a very young team. Most of the time we had 2 to 3 8th graders starting on the floor, which is absolutely amazing. This team's got a bright future, and they represented CCA and Douglas well.
Good deal. So let's grab a couple photo ops. Okay. Any parents want to go over here and take a couple pictures? So, ladies, before you depart, I want to say this right here. As the mayor, Mr. Billy Waldron and Brooks Waldron gave me an invitation to come watch you play basketball. This was December the 5th. The reason why I remember it's December the 5th because that was the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. And my wife, that was our date night to go watch John Glosson sing, right? So I wasn't able to do that. And I think the next week I was able to come out there. I enjoyed myself. I had a great time. Did a lot of yelling. Y'all were yelling. But it was a great atmosphere. It was a great environment. And to a point that the leadership of CCA, we had a meeting with the leadership team out there with Ms. Wadetta and Ms. Williams to try to bring CCA into the Mayor's Youth Council and Team Court. So we're going to try to make sure that everybody's included, so y'all be ready to ride. And as the mayor of the city of Douglas, I'm super proud of y'all. Y'all represent the city of Douglas and Coffee County very well. And I just want to tell the parents thank you. I want to tell the leadership thank you. Let's keep pressing forward, okay? Let's give a round of applause. Y'all have a good night. God bless you. Oh, Lord. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda item. As always, our city manager will release.
Mr. Mayor, before you go with the consent agenda items, I have a point of order for clarification, please.
Yes, what is it?
Okay, as you notice, I did not approve of the minutes from the last meeting. And as I was looking through them just then, it has on the, for the work session, that there was a discussion held about my 2 items at the last work session meeting. But I want, for point of order, to make it clear that that's incorrect. During the work session meeting, last meeting, there was no discussion at the work session about my 2 items that I had placed on there. The mayor chose not to discuss them. So I need that corrected. And also, it reflects in the regular meeting that there was discussion, but it fails to mention that while I was talking, the meeting was adjourned. So I would just like, as a point of order for clarification for the minutes to reflect that those minutes were incorrect.
Mr. City Manager?
You all have already voted to approve the minutes, but if you wanna amend the minutes, somebody have to make a motion to amend the minutes, and y'all will have to vote. Okay?
I offer the motion that we amend the minutes because the minutes are incorrect as to what I just stated.
Second. It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed?
Let's get a name call, roll call on that.
No, please.
No, I
Mr.
need to,
Pearson,
I have a
Mr.
right to
Pearson,
ask for it. I have a right.
I am counting those. It was you, Commissioner Taylor, and Commissioner Dern that said yes, correct?
Okay. Okay, and who opposed?
Any opposed? I also oppose. Motion does not carry.
Okay, now I ask why you all opposed when I'm stating that it's incorrect.
Okay. The vote, you asked for a vote, you got
Right,
the vote.
but I want an explanation,
The-
discussion. Why would you
The
vote?
vote
Why
has
would you
already
vote
been
to
done.
not
Commissioner
approve?
Pearson, please,
No, I have a question.
go ahead.
Why would you oppose it when I am stating it's incorrect? Why would you
Are you-
approve incorrect minutes?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking the entire council.
Anybody? That was my vote. Okay? That was my vote, just like it was your vote.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
So the next thing on the agenda
Let
is
me
the
finish
consent.
this, as we just finished talking at the work session, and you all were served with some papers and some item notice. Because my rights, as an elected official up here, my rights are being violated, and I am tired of it.
Okay?
I'm tired of it. The minutes should reflect if there was an error with the minutes. That should have passed by you all.
Okay. It
And
did
for you
not.
all not to give a discussion as to why you wanna approve some minutes that's wrong, I
Okay.
just don't understand it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Davis? Please, read off the items that are on the consent agenda.
We have 3 items coming over on the consent agenda. I'll read those. Item 5, discuss or approve the FY20 work plan projects. Item 7, approve the work authorization for airfield pavement evaluation project. And item 8, approval of appointment to the Historic Preservation Commission. Those are 3 items on the consent agenda.
Okay, 3 items on the consent agenda. We'll entertain a motion for those items on the consent agenda. A motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is work session items brought forward for discussion. I do believe we had a few of those. Mr. City Manager, would you please lead us through that?
We have 4 items coming over on the, take forward item. First one is item 1, approval of the February 10th, 2020 minutes.
So at this time, I entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in
As I
favor?
stated earlier, the minutes are incorrect, and I do not agree with them. Items that I brought forward, asked the commission not to hear them, and the minutes are incorrect. And so I will not vote for some incorrect minutes that I know are wrong.
Okay. All in favor? All opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. Next item.
Item 2, discuss the EDA appointment for Mayor Paul to be reassigned for 4 years.
Second.
It's been motion and second. Any further discussion?
Discussion.
Commissioner Pearson, Chair recognizes Commissioner Pearson.
Thank you, Chair. Mayor Park has had an opportunity to represent, the city council on the EDA authority. I think that someone else deserves an opportunity to serve. And quite frankly, and quite honestly, I cannot support, voting for Mayor Park for something that he deliberately, sabotages and manipulates and dictates these city council meetings and does not run these meetings fairly like they should be done.
Okay, it's been motion and second, any further discussion?
I totally disagree with those remarks, and I'll be voting in favor of Mayor Paul.
The Commissioner Garcia, Chair.
This the same appointment that I wanted to apply for.
Yes, sir.
Long time ago.
Yes, same.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carries. Next item.
Next item, next item will be item 4, discuss the approval of the Douglas Police Department standard operating procedures for the counter sniper policy. Chief Edmiston.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission again. As stated earlier, this is a separate standard operating procedure that we did not bring in the mass approval. Since we approved those, we have sent 2 people to counter sniper school, and we just want this brief standard operating procedure approved so we can move forward with that portion of our department. We want to work towards becoming an independent department. We handle everything that happens here in the city of Douglas. We look forward to being the premier agency in South Georgia, and this is just another step towards us being independent and having the tools and the standard operating procedures that we need.
Move to approve.
The motion and second, any further discussion?
Discussion.
Chair recognizes Commissioner
I
Pearson.
think that, at this time, I have not been afforded enough information that I'm comfortable with to, vote for this sniper policy. Not enough established protocols, because I would think if we were in a situation like that, some higher type of law enforcement would also be involved.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Chair
appreciate,
recognizes Commissioner Gallo.
I appreciate all the time and effort that our chief and the supervisors and the training that's been put forward to formulate this policy to recommend that it be implemented in the city of Douglas, and I think it needs to be adopted.
Okay. It's been motion and second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Opposed?
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, be item 6, first reading of amending the pawnbroker ordinance.
My glasses I got from Dr. Dollar Tree broke on the way over, so I'm having a hard city manager. This will be the first reading. You don't take any action on this tonight. We'll have the second reading on March the 9th. This be an ordinance for the city of Douglas, Georgia Code of Ordinances to amend the city of Douglas Code of Ordinances, chapter 22, businesses, article 7, pawnbrokers, section 23-176 through 22-200 to provide for an effective date for other purposes deal ordained by the mayor and board of commissioners of Douglas and regular meeting assembled pursuant to lawful authority thereof. The businesses of the city of Douglas, Georgia is amended and stands amended as follows by deleting chapter business, article 7, pawnbrokers, section 2-176 through 22-200 in its entirety and replacing it with an entirely new code. Often read for the first time at a regular meeting of Mayor Board of Commissioners, City of Douglas, Georgia, on February 24, 2020, and like I said, we'll have the second reading on March 9th.
Mr. City Manager.
That is all the items that come over from the work session. There are several items that's tabled for further time. Some of those items will be coming back at the next committee.
Do we have any staff comments? No staff comments? That concludes all the business of the city of Douglas. At this time, I entertain a motion to adjourn. It's been motion and second. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I ain't sitting by you, don't.
Yes,
No, he needs to.
thank you for remembering.
We gonna get us a $1 million truck. Y'all wanna be premier, we are. We gonna get $1 million truck like y'all got. Y'all wanna be a premier department, we are a premier department.
Yeah, so did you see that email today?